Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the Trubal Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
So the Canadian Human Rights Commission is currently under review by a UN-affiliated oversight body due to decades of anti-Black racism. Take a look at what Nicholas Marcus Thompson has to say, followed by an official statement by the Canadian Human Rights Commission, and then we'll talk about it further.
My name is Nicholas Marcus Thompson, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Black Class Action Secretariat, which is part of a coalition of human rights organizations that includes the Public Service Alliance of Canada, the National Union of Public and General Employees, the Canadian Black Nurses Alliance, the Enchantee Network, the Red Coalition, the Federation of Black Canadians, and the Canadian Association of Professional Employees. The Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights Subcommittee on Accreditation has concluded that there is sufficient evidence to place Canada under special review because of findings of systemic anti-Black discrimination at the Canadian Human Rights Commission. It is concerned about the institution's ability to comply with international human rights laws. This decision is unprecedented. Canada's human rights record has never been investigated by the United Nations in more than 30 years that it has been a member state. This now puts us among the ranks of nations like Russia, Iraq, and Venezuela, who have faced a special review. If Canada's A status is downgraded to B, it will lose speaking rights at the United Nations Human Rights Council, as well as voting rights and governance positions, not to mention the humiliation we will experience on the international stage. It is important to note that the evidence submitted that led to this decision came directly from two federal institutions, the Treasury Board of Canada Secretariat and the Senate Human Rights Committee, which both concluded that the Canadian Human Rights Commission not only discriminated against Canadians seeking justice by dismissing complaints of racism, but also discriminated against their own employees. Let us be clear. These are not allegations. These are findings and conclusions by multiple federal institutions.
Well, it's about time. It only took decades and decades of employees complaining about this and Black employees being in their jobs for 20, 30 years, and white people would be hired, and that Black person would be the one to train the white person, and the white person would get promoted. Or sometimes they just hire a white person in above the Black person who's been working there for so long, is in a senior level, knows the ins and outs of the company, is more than qualified for that position, but they will bring in a white person and the Black person would have to train them. So that's been going on. On top of that, you've got microaggressions, the covert racism that they go through, and sometimes even overt racism. So this has been going on for a long time. There have been class action lawsuits. There have been complaints over complaints upon complaints with the Canadian Human Rights Commission. There have been hearings where they have been brought to task and asked to explain what happened to those employees that were responsible for discriminating against Black employees, and they can't even really answer the question. They'll give you a general answer like, well, we made sure that they were, it was addressed, and there's no real consequences that comes down on white people when they discriminate against Black people in the public sector. And it is evidence of such. They have actually admitted that there is a lot of systemic racism and discrimination. This is by their own admission. It's not even an alleged thing. It's not apparently, it is fact. So what will this special review be doing by the UN? They're going to be looking at what actions Canada has taken. And they're going to be reviewing a period from 2016 to 2022. What the Black class action sector is asking is that they implement a Black Equity Commission. So this way, we can police what the public service sector is doing to our people, because right now, all that's happening is a complaint goes through from a Black person, it goes to the commission, then the commission is tasked to address it and come up with a solution. So you're basically asking the perpetrators of discrimination to figure out how they can fix it, which is not going to work because, as you can see, this is decades long of all of these actions that have happened and no real accountability and no real solution, because it's like you're asking a white person or a white body to address discrimination against Black people and come up with a solution. No, we need Black people in place to be able to address it and come up with a solution. Now let's talk about the Canadian Human Rights Commission's statement. They're saying that they've made significant progress. Their interpretation of significant progress is putting, let's just say there's one Black person in a senior position or an executive position. They'll go ahead and hire one more Black person and say, we have significant progress and we're up to 100% meeting the quota of visible minorities in the public sector. So all they're really saying here in the midst of all of that PC correct statement is we're just discriminating less. But less is not good enough. What we as Black people want is equality. We want equal opportunities. We want equal level of success. We want equal amount of promotions. We want equal amount of executive positions, or at least the opportunity to apply for an executive position. We want equal amount of promotions as our white counterparts get. We just want equal. So saying that we've made a significant progress, no, we want to see equal, because the employees are still complaining. So it still exists. There's a lot of work to be done, and we've come quite a ways, but it took lawsuits, it took constantly exposing them, constantly getting in front of them, getting into hearings, getting into multiple complaints, and, engaging all of these different Black organizations and bodies to step forward before all of this progress is happening. So now we want more. And I know the folks are going to say to me, well, what more do you want? They're working on it. They're doing their best. It's going to take time. No. We want equality. And while we're at it, we also want to check. So check, please. It's called reparations. Well, we want that as well. So I'll be watching to see what happens with this UN review, and I'll keep you all posted. Let me know what you all think about this. Drop your comments in the chat. Don't forget to also like and share this content. Also download the African Diaspora News app. You can grab it at the Google or Apple store, or head over to africandiasporanews.org and grab it there. You'll have access to content you won't see here or anywhere else. So grab that app. And until next time, please be safe, everyone.